Hey partners, hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another segment of Credit Makes Sense with Netiva, the Frugal CrediTnista, where we answer your most burning questions about money, credit, and everything in between. Today we're going to talk about self-lender. Actually got a few questions. One person says I have a repo on my credit report. Will self-lender help? Another person says I'm at 650. Self-lender actually dropped my score. Should I have added it? And another person says I just filed bankruptcy and needs to start building additional credit. I'm thinking chapter 7. And I've heard about self-lender, would that actually help? So decided to condense all three of those. We're going to talk about it today. Hope you guys are doing well. For those of you who don't know me, again, I am Netiva, the Frugal CrediTnista. I help women and couples to create custom credit profiles so that they can crush their financial goals. We own M&H Financial Services. We run the amazing free Facebook community Credit Makes Sense, and we also founded the epic Credit on Fire Academy, which is a membership platform that teaches you how to master your money, destroy your debts, and soar your credit scores. We do this through live lessons, pre-recorded. We have literally probably over 60 classes, Q&A sessions, accountability, coaching calls, and all of that good stuff. We just have a great community of wealth creators who are looking to build a solid financial foundation that they can really build up so they can then begin building and make wealth creation moves. They can start building generational wealth essentially, but you can't do that until you get that financial foundation together, right? So that's what we do inside of Credit on Fire. As I mentioned, today we're going to talk about self-lender. I actually wanted to bring a couple of them up, and before I do that, let me share it out, and you guys share it too. Bring some folks into the room. Let's get our financial education on here. So share it out to your partners. I'll share it out to mine, my groups, and we can get some folks into class, as I like to say. This is a time we get our learning on. Okay, let's rock. So let's take each one. Self-lender, for those of you who don't know, is a installment loan. So it's a loan, it's a personal loan, but you don't get the money when you're approved for it. They don't really check your credit, and you pay into the loan. So you're paying the loan. Let's say you're granted $1,100. They set up your monthly payments, usually over about 12 months, varies. You set up your payments, and then after you're done, then you get your check mail back. They get their money from the interest that's on it. So you get the information reported on a month-to-month basis. So that's great for building your credit, especially if your credit scores aren't the best and you probably can't get approved for a credit builder loan at your credit union. A lot of people are shocked when they're like, wait a minute, it's secured, or they can't get a secured credit card at their bank. And they're like, hold up. What is going on? That's because they still have lending guidelines. And if you don't meet those, then yes, you can get denied a secured loan or a secured card at your bank or a bank. So those no credit check products like self-lenders are phenomenal when you're looking to get back into the credit game and you need someone to give you a chance. So self-lender is epic for that. Now, for the person who said that they had a repo on their credit report, that's a negative installment loan. It's closed. It's not positively impacting your score. So if you don't have any other type of installment loan, that actually might work. For the other individual who says that they're at a 650, and would it be right for them? And the other person who said their score is dropped, then that's when self-lender is not for everyone. One of the things that I always teach you guys, and that's why I have the free challenge inside of my Credit Makes Sense community, the 5-day credit challenge. It should be on my Facebook business page as well. Actually, I post it on everywhere because I want to teach you how to learn how to read your credit reports. The Credit Report Mastery Challenge. I want to teach you how to actually read and understand your credit report, because once you break it down, then you know what products might work for you. This is also one of the first lessons that I teach inside of Credit on Fire Academy. Except it's way more in depth, okay? I teach you how to read it. I teach you how to break it down. I give you tools in order to do so. I teach you how to identify factual errors, which are the #1 way to make sure that things are deleted or properly updated. So we go over all of this because it's so important. So I do want to say this. I kind of want to go over, just based on those last couple of questions, when you should not get a self-lender account. #1, if you already have installments reporting on your credit report that are open and positive. So those of you with a decent amount of student loans or a good overall credit mix, self-lender isn't going to do much for you. So if you already have a car or a mortgage or student loans reporting on your credit, adding one more installment loan isn't going to mix anything else up, and it's not going to do much to increase your goals. Some people say, well, that applies to me because I got a self-lender and I got a credit card. Well, how do you know that the self-lender did it or the credit card did it? Or maybe you've been paying down your debts and that did it. I mean, based on how the FICO algorithm works, adding on another installment loan reduces your age, and it doesn't really work any magic as far as shooting up your scores when you already have a decent mix of credit accounts, especially installments going on. Your credit age is old. I just mentioned age. Some people have a really decent amount of age, and yet they heard the self-lender can do all of this magic from a blog or from a financial educator. And it's a bit misleading because now you added on another accounts and you shorten your length of age and your scores drop even after you've been paying on self-lenders for a few months. Couple that with the length of age, and then you probably already have installment loans reporting. That's not going to do much for your scores either. The person who has a good credit mix and scores over 650, no, I already mentioned mix already. That's not going to help at all. So let me go over when you do want to check out a self-lender. The Chapter 7 partner who mentioned that, she's just filed or was discharged from Chapter 7, needs to start rebuilding. This will be great for you. It's really good when, because usually when you discharge, what happens if you have student loans, because I know this is going to come up as a question, those will say that they've been discharged in bankruptcy. They haven't. They're going to come back on, but before they do, it's okay to add on a self-lender just to get some kind of reporting going, because sometimes it takes them a while to pop back on there, for some, not all. Also, students, new people who are new to credit, if you've had me say, maybe you should get a self-lender account so you can kind of learn. The reason why I like them to get something reporting when they're brand new, so I do this with a lot of college students, is because they don't get the money. They learn how to start putting money up. And then once they get the money, I say, hey, well, since you've already been doing this, why don't you put this up into a savings account? And since you've already gotten accustomed to making these monthly payments, why don't you start putting that into that same savings account, and this will start building up your emergency fund. So it works out great for them to be like, oh, yeah, I have been kind of, yeah, it just works for teaching them to save and pay themselves first, and they already got this nest egg. Otherwise, they'd be like, woohoo, my money came, about to spend it. So that's good. When I am building with someone from scratch, I also pair a self-lender with a no credit check secured card. People specifically who are rebuilding after bankruptcy or whose scores are so low that they can't get approved for anything else. The no credit check cards that I have work great, coupled with self-lender, start them off right away with that mix, and that works really well. So the point is that it's a really great product for those who are in a rebuilding phase and for those who need to mix it up. It's great. And it kind of gets you in the habit of paying into something that that you can eventually start paying yourself if you are having concerns. I hate to say issues, but it's true. Some people just don't, they can pay a bill better than they can pay themselves. And so I would suggest that if it wasn't like a huge financial stretch while you were paying on that self-lender loan, that you just keep paying that into a savings account like I teach my new students, because you've already gotten accustomed to the bill. And usually the people who are advisors to don't have a significant amount of debt anyway. So it's just good to kind of pay yourself like you would pay a bill. So hopefully that helped. Like I said, I use self-lender quite a bit. Even left my affiliate link up there because I do think it's a phenomenal product. It used to be I used to send people to their credit union all the time, but then some of my clients, members, students started getting denied because they didn't have a sufficient enough credit history, or they were recently discharged, and that's not something that the credit union does. Like I said, each credit union kind of sets their own criteria, so they vary, but they do have lending guidelines. So it's a great way to mix up your credit, get started rebuilding and all of that good stuff without having to have your credit be a major approving factor. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, the person who already had like 650, you already had a good mix. You got a long length of age, you didn't really need any extra credit. Self-lender is not a magic credit score tool. It's just not. All right, where do we go from here? If you are looking to build up your FICO scores, and obviously you need to be rocking out with me inside of my Credit on Fire Academy. This is where we teach you to repair, rebuild, restore your credit scores, master your money, store destroy your debts and soar your credit scores. And we teach you how to then use the money that you're saving to begin owning and building by leveraging your money and your credit scores, because that's what that solid financial foundation is for. So you can make sure that it's rock solid, that you have your credit on point, that you have proper money mastering skills, that you are not going into consumer debt, but looking more into investing in areas that's going to bring a good return on your dollars. And that's what Credit on Fire is all about. Left the link for you to rock out with us. If you're looking for that free challenge, the free credit repair manual, the challenge meaning the credit report mastery, then that is going to be inside of my free Facebook community, Credit Makes Sense. And I left the link for that above as well. Got some questions for this segment? I know you do. Then I left the email for you to send me your questions. We also review the questions here under this live so that I can answer them for you as well if they apply to what we've been learning. If they're newer, then I'll just ask you, do you want to add this to this segment? All right. I hope you guys are doing well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hope to see you inside of Credit on Fire or Credit Makes Sense. Remember, Credit on Fire is a next sense level. Get ready to get your learning on. Get ready to get community. Get ready to get accountability. Get ready to get to the proper steps to build your financial foundation. That's what it's definitely for. Chat with you soon.